And now, more Utalk. Now.
Hey guys, what's up? We've got a great guest on the show today. We've been trying to get him for a long time. Finally nailed him down on his schedule. He is the lead vocalist with the band Spoken. They are an aggressive band with elements of rock, metal, pop. Let's welcome Matt Baird to the show.
Hey, what's going on?
Hey, dude. Great to see you, man. Where are you on the planet?
I am, I'm in Pennsylvania, and I am outside my favorite place to eat on planet Earth. Yeah, it's a gas station. And it's called Sheets, and I love it. Sheets,
what is so good about what they have? I mean, what do they have that makes it your favorite place on the planet?
They have everything. They have everything. They're known for their made-to-order food. You can order at the gas pump. You can order inside. It's all touchscreen.
Nice.
And it's so good. Like I love they have an appetizer thing right now. You normally get, like tonight, I will probably get tater tots, jalapeno poppers, and mozzarella sticks. It's probably what I'll get. Yeah. Oh,
and that's just the appetizer. So what are you going to get for the main?
Oh, that'll be it. That'll be plenty for me. It's really good food, and I talk about it probably too much. I'm kind of a spokesperson for it, but I'm not paid. I'm not a paid spokesperson.
An unpaid spokesperson. You know, I'm that way too for a couple of places. So I'm all about that. But you're making me hungry, dude. But you haven't eaten either. So we'll chat for a while, and then we'll both go eat.
I'll be completely fine. I'll be fine. Because the place I played tonight, they started a creamery about a month ago, and so they had homemade ice cream there, and so it was really good. It was great. I digress, but when I was in junior high, my parents opened an ice cream and candy store. Really?
Yes, and I never understood the strategy until 2 weeks later, but they brought my brother and sister and I in, showed us the store, showed us where everything was, and they said, you guys can help yourself to whatever. Eat as much as you want to eat. And I'm going, man, I have died. I have gone to heaven early. And I was telling my friends at school, and I go, oh, dude, yeah, that is so good. 2 weeks later, it's like, I don't want any more ice cream, no candy, none of that stuff, you know. So, but they did have great ice cream. Anyway, how old were you when you realized that music was going to be your life?
You know, when I was 12 years old, I got a guitar and I got a skateboard at the same time. And the thing was, skateboarding beat out guitar for a very, very long time. And I also quit singing when I was 12 years old because of my brother. My brother had a friend spend the night, a friend from school. I never had people spend the night. But this was kind of a big deal. And my brother walks in, and he was like, hey, look what I found. And he had a tape recorder, and he had found my cassette tape of me singing Michael Jackson songs a cappella on it. And he pushed play, and I was so mad at him. I was so embarrassed. I said, I'm never singing again. I quit. And I didn't sing again until we started a band when I was in youth group, and I was playing bass in the band, but we ended up having to kick our singer out because he was stealing lyrics from real bands and saying he wrote them. So we kicked him out, and then I mean, honestly, it wasn't until I was 19, really, probably 19, right when the band started, that I realized I wanted to do it for real, you know.
Yeah,
so probably 19.
Yeah. That's cool. Now, see, I got that hit a little bit earlier when I was 13.
Okay.
I started playing in a band and professionally, you know, getting paid a little bit of money here and there. So, but right around the same time. So 19, you're in this band. Are you guys, what kind of gigs are you playing? What kind of shows are you doing?
Anything, everything. We played some of the clubs around Fayetteville, Arkansas. We played some churches. We played people's backyards. We played their back porches, their garages, everything.
Dude.
I mean, we were playing shows before we had a band name, and so one night we realized, wow, we should probably have a band name so people know what to call us. You know,
not a bad idea.
Yeah, but it took us a while before. It took us a while before we realized that, but the conversation of the band name lasted about 2 minutes. So.
And what was that first band name?
The first real band name was Spoken.
So that was the very first real one then.
Yeah.
Interesting. So you've had that.
I mean, the youth group band that we played in, we called it Alternative Reality, but we didn't play a whole lot of places.
Interesting. And yet if I know my Spoken history, you are the only original member now, correct? And that's been that way for a few years.
Yeah, I'm the only original member. I've been the only one left for probably almost 9 years.
Oh wow!
Yeah, kind of crazy.
Yeah,
it's also crazy to think that one of the other original members still toured for 15 years.
Huh. Interesting. Music is so. I mean, there's so many different dynamics we deal with in bands and personnel, and who's going to get along with who and who's not, and who's going to get this gig, and I mean, you know all that. Why is music so important in our lives, or is it important?
I think there's probably a lot of answers for that. I mean, I can speak on behalf of myself. Music is one. I love listening to music. I love everything about it. Obviously, I'm a little critical at times because music is such a huge part of my life. But I love melody. I love rhythm. I love hearing things that bands do that I would have never thought of. I think that it can take you out of a mood that you're in, and it can help you. I don't know. It can help you kind of just go from one place to another. It's like it just seamless. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't have to be something huge that happens that makes you realize, wow, I was really in a bad mood. Man, I'm over it now. Because I think music is a universal language. If you want to communicate love, if you want to communicate your faith in Christ, if you want to communicate anger, if you want to, whatever it is, music can help you do that. But I love talking to people about music, and I love talking to people about tattoos. I love talking to people about food. But probably my favorite things to talk to people about that are not music would be, I love talking to people about Jesus, and I love talking to people about my wife.
Oh, nice.
All of those things. And I mean, there's a lot of good love songs out there, And so a lot of times you just relate to those love songs, and a lot of times people will take a love song that's about a person and they'll relate it to other aspects of their life. But
sure.
Yeah. I think everyone loves music of some sort, and that's what's so great about there being so many different genres of music.
Yeah. Now, I would assume you obviously have some favorite genres, but do you find yourself, depending upon your mood, moving from one genre to the next, to another, just for listening, for unpacking, for emotional support?
Well, I think because I drive so much. I mean, I'm in a rental car right now, and it has a pretty good radio, and so I love channel surfing.
Okay.
So I'm back and forth. I could be on a classic rock channel 1 minute. The second that I'm over that song or there's static, I'm to a country station. Or it's very rare, but sometimes I'll stop on ESPN radio so I can talk to my 9-year-old about basketball. So he's keeping up with it, playoffs and everything.
Sure.
But I'll also find myself at times like 2 a.m, kind of zoned out. I'm over the drive, but yet I probably still have 8 hours to go. And I'll stop on a classical station where it's just strings, But I mean, there are some bands that I really like what they're doing. I like what they choose to do musically. Some of them have incredible voices. I mean, Sebastian Bach from Skid Row is one of my favorite vocalists of all times. And anytime I'll be channel surfing and I Remember You comes on, I have to listen to it to the end. And I find myself doing like hand motions by the end of the song because it's so good.
Yeah. No, I can relate. I have the other element is, as a drummer, I got to play the dashboard, play the steering wheel, sometimes hit the ceiling, just anything to create a rhythm. It's I love what you're saying, because I can't think of anybody I know who doesn't like some kind of music. Yeah. And that's the beauty of today. I mean, there's so many, like you said, so many different genres, so many different platforms on which to listen. Yeah. I mean, and I would add something, and I'm sure you probably have some thoughts on this. I think everybody ought to learn how to play an instrument. Because there's something that happens when you connect with that instrument, whether it's drums, whether it's keys, guitar, bass. Yeah. Your voice is an instrument.
Yeah. I could agree with that. But at the same time, I think someone would try to argue, I think everyone should learn how to play a video game. I'm like, I don't think so. I don't want to. I don't have the brain capacity to figure out how all of these levels and how to, beat these things. And I don't really want to play games with people online. I don't know. I mean,
no, I hear you.
So many people, when they start playing guitar, they immediately realize how much their fingertips hurt. And the thing is, like, I have to tell people, I'm like, hey, I've been playing guitar a long time. My fingers still hurt at the end of a show because I end up holding some kind of chord, telling some kind of story. I get long-winded in the story. My fingers are killing me, but it'd be really weird to stop playing guitar halfway through the story.
Sure.
But it's the same way with skateboarding. Like I used to, that was all I wanted to do. I didn't think music would ever be anything I cared about. So I wanted to skateboard. But now I find myself with just, indentions in my shin bones that are still sore to this day,
From back in the day doing the skateboarding, huh?
Yeah. Yeah, I did. I thought that skateboarding was what I was going to do, Christian Hosoi is my favorite skater of all time. I have an autographed skateboard hanging in my children's room.
Wow.
That Christian Hosoi is right after he came to Christ, and it says, Matt, Jesus is the way, the truth, and the life. God bless, bro. And it had Christian Hossoi's, it was his black label. Yeah. So cool. Yeah. So cool. I'm like, that's so awesome. And then one time in Albuquerque, New Mexico, he was doing a skate workshop, and we're playing a show, and I turn around and he's standing behind the stage. I about wanted to fall off the stage.
Oh, dude. Wow.
Yeah. Crazy.
I mean, that's nuts. And I think a bit of history with Christian Hosoi. Didn't Jerry Madrid from Madrid Boards help him? Didn't he create some initial ones and then help Christian launch his own line of boards?
I'm
something
sure
like that.
I don't know. I remember that name, and it sounds familiar, but I'm not positive. Yeah, I think that is so cool though. It's like when you look at it as like someone who's been doing something for a while, and they see someone they have a dream, they have a vision, they have like, man, what I'd love to do. Okay, let's figure it out. Let's help you do that.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I love skateboarding. I love watching it more so now than doing it. But yet I do love music, and I know that that's what I do mostly. But in the end, people aren't going to remember songs. They're not going to remember a show, but they're going to remember a conversation.
Yes.
They're going to remember the time that you stood there and you talked about whatever they wanted to talk about, whether it be for 2 minutes or 20 minutes. And
it's amazing how that happens. I do school assemblies, middle school, junior high, high schools.
Cool.
It's way cool. Use the drums. And it amazes me, Matt. I mean, there's times when there's 150 kids standing in line wanting to talk.
Yeah.
And every one of them has a story, and every one of them deserves a listening ear. Yeah. I love doing it. Obviously because of COVID, I wasn't able to do it. I did a lot of them via Zoom and things, but yeah, you're right. That it's that conversation. It's that one-on-one. It's the listening ear. Yeah. It's being able to share, who they are and what they're going through. And I'm sure you feel this way. I like that experience when somebody will say, hey, thanks, Steve, man, you really helped me. and walk away. You know, to me, it's like that made the whole journey, whatever it was I was doing, however it took me to get there, you know, all that. I mean, it's just now skateboarding. Are you still doing some once in a while, or?
You know what? I find myself, if I show up at a venue and there's kids skating, I'm skating somehow, some way.
Nice.
My kids, I have a 14-year-old and a 9-year-old, and they'll walk into the music room at home and they'll see my skateboard against the wall, and like magically they want to learn how to skateboard when it's bedtime, you know, or they want to learn how to skateboard when they have chores to do.
Of course.
And they go to put it down on the floor, and they're about to take off across the hardwood floor, and I'm like, no, I'm not right now. A few days before I left on the tour I'm on now, my oldest son was in the garage, and he found this longboard that someone gave him at church, and he's like, hey, can I do this right now? I'm like, no, not the right time. Not right now. I was mowing the lawn, right? It's, you know, 95 degrees. I'm about to die. And he comes walking out there. He's like, can I do this now? I'm like, kiddo, please, not now. It's not the right time. Just for a minute. I'm like, not yet. And so, but any other time, they have no interest in it. They don't want to do it. But they did just build they just completed a $6.5 million concrete skate park a minute from our house. And
so, nice.
That's bad for me, you know.
Yeah, bad for you and good for everybody else.
Yeah, it's been packed. It's been really cool. I mean, they did. Their first event was the Do Challenge or whatever it's called. And so, I was out of town, so I didn't get to go.
Oh, that's too bad. I'm kind of interested, and I would guess you are, to see what happens with skateboarding at the Olympics. First year, that it's actually going to be, you know, it's going to be taken seriously. And we've got a guy from California, SoCal here, who Nigel Houston, who is supposed to be one of the greatest in the world. So I'm real curious to see, you know, what he comes up with.
I've watched several of his YouTube videos. Things that people are doing with skateboards right now, like it's unreal. I can watch anything to do with skateboarding except the fail videos. I cannot watch skateboard fails. I turn my head. I like, no. It's so bad. I can't.
Yeah, you feel the ouch coming, you know. I
don't even. I can't. Any other thing, I can watch people get hurt, but not that. I can't do it.
Not,
you know,
skateboard.
to circle back a little bit, when you're talking about time, like people waiting in line to talk or whatever, I think that's what we're all longing for, is a little bit of time, you know, with someone, and especially after the year and a half that everyone has had. And, you know, the thing is, like, and the person I've learned the most from when it comes to stopping and actually listening to people and trying to get to know them is my wife is the best at it. Like,
oh, nice.
She's the best at it. She can make anyone talk. They're telling her things that they haven't told anyone. It's a gift, and I don't have that gift. I don't have that, but I definitely watch it. I watch her, and I learn a lot.
I was going to say, what a great person to learn from. And it sounds like she's got a vibe about her that's welcoming. That's, you know, people just, they feel comfortable. And you're so right. Everybody, I mean, if we could just turn things around with that kind of a focus and say, I'm not going to just hear you, I'm going to listen to you. And I'm not going to wait, you know, to interrupt you on the last, you know, syllable of the word you just said. I almost want to, I don't know if marinate's the right thing, but, you know, I want to soak in what you're saying. And I just had a kind of along this vein, I had an interesting experience a few weeks ago. Several years ago, I met a guy through a radio show that I was doing. And he was just hurting, you know, 15 going on 16, and needed to make some different choices in his life. And we stayed in touch. And once in a while we would call on the phone or, you know, email, mainly messaging, and get this one from him saying, hey, Steve, you know, I'm driving truck long distance. I think I'm going to be in your area.
Yeah.
Possibly, you know, I would really like to meet you face to face and thank you for all you've done to help me in my life.
That's
Matt,
cool.
I mean, it was so cool. We end up at a truck stop off the Petro truck stop off the 10 freeway here in SoCal, sitting at a Popeyes restaurant talking. You know,
awesome.
I mean, here's this guy, and I thought, I'm trying to think. I didn't do anything special. I would listen to him. I would give him, you know, some answers that I thought might work. You know, it was just really, it was really an encouragement.
That's cool.
You know, to see that I had this little tiny part in his life. Now, going back to you're on tour now.
Yeah.
But what happened during COVID for you? Because I know you tour as a solo artist and obviously spoken. And if I saw things right, spoken, you're back going to do some shows coming up here pretty soon. How did you survive? How did you, I mean, because this has been your life. This is, you know, you gig because you want to, but also pays the bills.
Yeah. I mean, I know that everyone was affected in different ways. Some people, they act like they weren't affected at all by COVID. Other people, they lost loved ones. They had it themselves. They're still not the same now, even though they had, I know some people that had COVID a year ago and they're still having issues, you know? For me, I had 5 months off of no touring, which is the longest in 25 years to have off that much time. Because I would have never taken 5 months off because whether it be like an expectation that I put on myself or I felt like other people were putting on me, like if spoken were to take 2 months off, people, they probably forget about who you were, you know, that's just the mentality of tour. And that's what we've done for 25 years. It's just go, go, go. And, so for the first 5 months, God showed up in supernatural ways and he provided for my family. He used a handful of people that they felt like God was telling them, like, hey, support someone who their livelihood has been taken away. And I met with one of the guys yesterday in near Syracuse. He and his wife, they just felt like God was telling them to send us, you know, like tithe money. And I'm like, wait, what in the world? And there are, you know, a few people at home in Des Moines who just, they felt like that is what they're supposed to do. And, you know, there's a couple families that they send like a monthly gift, like they've been doing it for years, you know, and just, God has used these people in ways they'll never understand, you know? Yeah. And, you know, I was able to do some pre-recorded stuff for some different churches because everyone was trying to figure out how to go online and be virtual. So I was able to do that. I had a couple corporate events that were booked that those had to be virtual as well. So they stuck with it and they had me do it and pre-record stuff and they paid me to do it. Nice. It was different for sure, but it was just God he just figured stuff out, which is what he does.
Yeah, what an experience. I mean, that's what he does best. Yeah, you know.
Yeah, we only did 6 shows last year as spoken, and you know this year in April we did 4 shows out west. We did 2 shows in Idaho, 1 in Needles, California, 1 in Flagstaff, and they went really well. It was really cool to be back playing shows. We have Life Fest coming up next week in Wisconsin. We're playing Move the Hills in Logan, Ohio, coming up August 14th. We're doing a festival called Finding Hope Music Festival in Fort Worth at the end of August. Uprise in Pennsylvania in September. And then just some other shows kind of scattered out, you know, throughout the next several months.
Yeah. Oh, that's good to hear. And I hope you're back out somewhere close to Southern California sometime in the next few months because I'd love to see you guys live.
I'd love to. If you guys didn't keep changing every guideline in the world, we'd be out there.
Please, don't even get me started on that.
I know.
Hey, talking about touring, okay, what was it like, and I know this was a few years ago, what was it like for you guys to tour with Volbeat, the Danish rock band, across Europe?
You know, when management came to me and said, hey, I'm working on a Volbeat tour, I said, okay, who is that? I didn't know who it was.
Yeah.
But they're like, are you kidding? Like, they're the second most added, band to Active Rock Radio next to Five Finger Death Punch. I'm like, I don't know.
That's amazing.
And, so we did that tour. They were gracious enough to let us go. And the first night in Dallas, Texas, we realized, who is this band?
Yeah.
I think 2,000 people at that show. And we had a quick lesson on these people don't care who you are. They don't know who you are. You have to make them care who you are. So, we worked really hard on that trip. And, we had a merch guy that was with us that was a miracle worker. And he convinced people to buy merch. Santino Westcott was amazing. And he's crazy. He's crazy. But it was really cool, and those guys were super nice to us. We're absolutely opposite when it comes to, beliefs, that's for sure. But what a great band. Michael Paulson is an amazing vocalist. He's a great guitar player. All those guys were really good to us. They were really kind. It was awesome. We got to play venues that we could only dream of playing. Half of it was in the United States. Half of it was in Canada, playing in hockey rinks in Canada. And
nice.
We would never, unless it was some kind of amazing situation of playing a festival in the United States, we would have never played for, 3,000 to 6,000 people every night. Like that was crazy. That's
so cool. That is so cool.
It was
what a
awesome.
great opportunity.
Everything about it was great, and we were very fortunate to do it. It was awesome.
Oh, I'm glad you did, and it's nice to hear a little bit about it because I've heard about it, here and there. And now I've got to bring up something else because I'm really curious. Okay, spoken as a connection to anime. Tell me about that. Tell our audience about that. That is just crazy.
Yeah, I have no clue who those people are. Like I don't know. I don't know. Someone who does something with anime decided they wanted to add Through It All to one of their things. I don't know. I know nothing about it. I really don't. Except I have people about once a month being like, dude, have you seen how many views this has? I'm like, I don't know. It's amazing. I wish we had a tie. I wish I had made that video. There's no tie.
That's so cool. It's so awesome that your song is being used. And you're communicating to people that you may not ever have in a show, but they're hearing your music and hopefully they're saying, I want some more of this. That's what I do if I hear something in a game. I'm not a gamer, trust me, or if I hear something in a movie or whatever, I go, man, I like that. I gotta get more of that. Yeah. I think that's so cool that you guys had that opportunity.
It's great. It's just hard because I don't know who those people are. I don't know what all's in the comments. I don't read comments. I don't know if these people are the worst human beings on earth or if they're cool. I don't know if I don't know. So a lot of times when they hear that you might know someone, they think you agree with everything that person is about,
Yes.
I cannot tell you how many people come up to me and be like, hey, so you're friends with this person. I'm like, I'm not sure. Who is it? And they'll tell me about someone that maybe I met 10 years ago and they're still talking about it. And they make it seem like we are in constant communication. And I'm like, that sounds familiar, but I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
I wish I knew everyone that talked about me. That'd be cool. But
I'm with you. I get the same thing, it's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Hey, one thing, and kind of circling back in a little way, those of us at Utalk, part of Utalk, are about going mad, and that's not crazy, but it's about making a difference.
Yeah.
And we're finally, except in California, coming out of this nightmare, that we've been experiencing, and some people still are. I just found out the other day my neighbor's brother-in-law died of COVID. I had no idea. It's just a horrible thing. But what is one thing? I know there's a whole bunch of stuff we could talk about, but what's one thing that comes to your mind that we could each do to make a difference in this world? Be a change, be that change, I guess I could say.
Be nice. Be nice. I always think of when I walk into a gas station how used to, I would just walk in, I would do what I was supposed to do in a gas station, I would walk out. But I've tried to make it a thing of where when you're standing there awkwardly waiting for your change or for the debit card to say chip malfunction every time, chip malfunction, like I've been like, how's your day going? And so often they're like, sorry, nobody ever asked that. And to think that these people they see thousands of people every time they work, right, at a busy gas station. Yeah. And people act like they're not there. They act like they're not alive. They act like they're not a human being. And so it's crazy how people react. It's crazy how it'd be the same way as like if you were to walk by and be like, hey, how you doing? They're like, oh, good. You're like, cool, see you later. What if you're like, how you doing? And you stood there and you waited for them to actually respond, and then you heard what they had to say. I think taking time, which is really hard. I get it. I'm busy sometimes. Sometimes I don't want to stand there and listen. I really don't. And I'm pretty good at exiting conversations. But again, I have to bring up my wife and how she's the best person I know. And so to see her and how she communicates with people is pretty incredible. And so I want to be more like that. I want to be more like that.
That's awesome. You know, I do too, because I get so focused sometimes and it maybe even come across a little sharp more than I want to. That's not really who I am. Yeah. But you get in that, you get on that treadmill and you're going and you're going and you're going, and what you just said is so simple, but Matt, that's huge. That's huge. If everybody would just do that, just be nice, just with a listening ear. How are you? How you doing? And be, like you said, it's almost like you're taking a deep breath and you're waiting for them to respond. Because part of the wait that you just described, and I've experienced it too, is like kind of a shock. It's almost like a pushback. Like, nobody does this with me. Nobody really cares. They just want the, whatever that's behind the counter, or, get the change for the gas, or make the gas pump work, or, get the donut or the burger or whatever it is, That's huge. That's huge.
I think one of the things that I would love to try to be more aware of is like when people, when people are asking me, like at a show or whatever, when they're asking me about me, they want to hear about me, whatever, like I already know about me. Like I need to try to figure out how to shorten it where it's not so much about me, and turn that conversation to them. But it's hard when people are asking you specific questions, and you're trying to answer it, but in the back of your mind, you're like, dude, you've literally just sat and talked about yourself, for 15 minutes. Get past that, figure out something about them, get to know them. But the whole time you're thinking like, all they want to do is talk about me. And so it's like, it's hard. It's so hard because I don't want to ever come off like, I don't want to answer your question. Okay. Yeah. How about you? Yeah. Because it's easy to deflect, Yeah,
it is. It is.
But I don't know. I mean, what would you say, like, when it comes, like, what do you think is something that everyone could do to make it to where, wow, this world is a better place?
Besides being nice, because I love that. And I love this whole thing of, just interjecting here. I've never met anybody that doesn't like to talk about themselves once you give them that opportunity, once you open that door. A big thing for me, and it kind of coincides with what you're saying, is treat everyone the way you want to be treated. Yeah. It's the golden rule. Yeah, it's a tenet in, all the major religions of the world, but those are the words of Jesus from Nazareth. He put them so cool. And it's so simple, and it's not rocket science. And yet I think if we could just treat everybody the way we want to be treated. Yeah. I look at all this stuff that's in the news and it makes me sick so many times. And I think, come on, people, please push back a little bit. Is that the way you want to be treated? Well, treat somebody that, there's so many simple things, I think, but I think the two we just talked about, if we could all practice them, would make a huge difference. And that's a whole nother conversation. We'll have to get you back on the show when your schedule permits. I appreciate you taking time. We finally were able to work this out, and I look forward to a chance one of these times we can sit down and have poppers and mozzarella sticks and and just chat, man. Hey, how do people stay in touch with you with what you guys are doing at Spoken, as well as you personally on social? What's the best way to do that?
Spoken to be Instagram, Spoken Official. It's Spoken. It's just Spoken on Facebook.
Okay.
With myself, my artist page, Matt Baird Acoustic. My personal page, just Matt Baird. Matt Baird Official on Instagram. I'm kind of whatever,
Okay, good. Well, we'll put that in. We'll put that in the notes for the show, and make sure that people know how to do that. Hey, appreciate you very much. Love your heart. We got to do this again. Maybe we'll film it someplace where we're eating, because we talk about food so much. So a little bite here and then chat, a little bite here and chat.
It's a fault of mine talking about food. It is. It's hard because I love In-N-Out Burger. Obviously, they're branching out. They're they're building a new one in Denver, Colorado, which is only 9 hours from my house.
Oh, okay. Well, it's getting closer.
They're in Colorado Springs now, but I love In-N-Out Burger. There's a burger joint in Des Moines called Bebop's, which it's so amazing. It's such a good burger. But out here, Sheetz it's got my heart when it comes to food.
It sounds like it's got your heart, your mind, your stomach. Maybe next time we have you and I just talk about food. Because I think, and being Italian, food is like really. Oh, and we got some places out here for Italian. We got to do that because it truly is, in my opinion, the greatest food there is. But there's other great food too. So, hey, thanks for taking time. Great to be with you finally. I hope the rest of your tour goes well. And once again, it's Matt Baird Official on Insta, and it's also Spoken Official on Insta, as well as other forms and fashions. But, well, have fun at Sheetz. Enjoy that couple poppers for me. And next time I go to In-N-Out, I'll remember you. And I may even take a picture of it and text it to you. But that might not be fair,
I'd be a number 2, no onions, Coke. It's one of the rare times I'll actually get Coke. I don't want those onions on my fries. No.
Oh, you don't like that? Okay. All right. Well, that's anyway. I digress. But it's great to finally be with you. And
hey, it's so funny because I'm just sitting on a curb, of course, outside of Sheetz.
I noticed that.
There are these people at the back of this truck at the gas pump who have been standing there the whole time, looking over here, wondering, what's that guy doing? They stare at me.
They stare at me even when I'm not sitting on a curb in front of a gas station.
I know. It's crazy though, because of some of the things that you have to do. Some of the situations. One of the last photo shoots we did with images that we use a lot. It was probably 10 degrees outside. I think it was in Connecticut. And it was behind a Walmart at 2 a.m. And it was so bad. It was so cold. But Dylan, the guy who was filling in on guitar for us, he is a photographer. And so we stretched this black sheet in front of our van. He had these lights that we bought at Walmart, and he took some photos. It was so cold. It was so cold. But we got it done. But all right, I'll let you go.
Hey, man, it sounds like a cool photo shoot. Great to be with you. We'll look forward to doing it again, and let's stay in touch, all right?
Absolutely. Thanks for everything.
This is Utalk Radio.